At the age of 10, I was force-fed pesticide by my father, John Wilson's first love, and didn't survive. In my final moments, I kept calling out for John Wilson through fading consciousness, but never saw him before dying. My biological father had gone to comfort his delicate white moonlight Lucy Brown, who feared menstrual cramps and darkness. After my death, my mother Ivy Peter developed severe depression, refusing food and water. She was eventually diagnosed with stomach cancer. Later, she used her own life as a weapon to make John Wilson live in eternal guilt until his distracted death in a car accident decades later. How do I know this? My lingering attachment kept me floating through the air, witnessing it all. Annie, stay with me. I've already lost your father. I can't lose you too. That voice. Mom's voice? But Mom passed away years ago. Blinking groggily, I met Ivy Peter's bloodshot eyes. Annie. She sobbed with relief, embracing me tightly. Her bony frame pressed painfully against me. Pain. A sensation I hadn't felt in decades. The last time was when I was 10. Force-fed fake pesticide by John Wilson's white moonlight Lucy Brown. Don't ever scare me like that. Promise you'll never drink strange liquids again. I can't lose you. Her words jolted me. Hadn't I died long ago? My gaze fell on her phone displaying January 1st, 2020, the exact day I was hospitalized. Was I reborn? Disbelievingly, I took in Mom's jet black hair, the stinging fluorescent lights, the authentic lung pain. This was real rebirth. Providence must have pitted Ivy Peter's suffering, sending me back to save her. This time, I wouldn't let that scoundrel John Wilson and Lucy Brown hurt her again. Mom, my vocal cords rasped horribly. But Ivy Peter clutched my hands, tears streaming. I'm here. Does it hurt? Where does it hurt? No pain. I placed my small hand in hers. Mom. I miss Dad. Where is he? I knew exactly where John Wilson was, celebrating Lucy Brown's birthday. Today, Lucy Brown would use helping John Wilson retrieve gifts as an excuse to enter our home, then spike my drink with pesticide. When I resisted last life, Lucy Brown had shoved the pesticide bottle into my hands, screaming, John, your daughter's trying to kill me. John Wilson arrived to find her sprawled on the floor and me clutching the bottle. Wretch. Where'd you get this? John Wilson's slap silenced my childhood self. Too terrified to explain, I could only sob, not me. It was her. Dad didn't believe me. Lucy Brown stood nearby, pleading on my behalf. She said, I'm sorry, John. I'm too sensitive about this. You know my brother died because of this. How could I forget? Annie's just a child. She wouldn't want to harm me. How could she have? Tears clung to her delicate face as she stubbornly refused to let them fall. It's only natural she dislikes me. I shouldn't have come into your lives in the first place. Dad embraced her tenderly while I sat sobbing, completely ignored. He carried her out princess style that very night. Later, Mom sat alone by my hospital bed, her phone echoing with Dad's venomous words, you're the most despicable woman I've ever met, even scheming against your own daughter. Trying to kill Lucy with her worst fear. Laughter bubbled from his end of the call while Mom nearly collapsed from grief. My 10-year-old body lay dying as my spirit hovered above, witnessing it all. Mom had called the police initially, but under Lucy's manipulation, that fool John had destroyed evidence to protect me. Convinced I'd tried to harm his precious Lucy. Now at Lucy's birthday celebration, he must be having the time of his life. Mom gently smoothed my sheets. Dad's working late, but he loves you very much. If I were actually 10, I might have believed her. But I'm 110 years old now. Mom, can we call Dad? I need to tell him something. Her hands trembled as she dialed. The ringtone dragged on until finally, still using Annie's illness to trick me home? You probably don't even know what your daughter just pulled. God. Annie's cursed to have you as a mother. His voice cut through party noises. Ivy Peter, marrying you was my life's biggest regret. Dad, I rasped weakly. Silence. Then, Annie. Never lie. Because of you. Mom caused Lucy so much trouble with that police report. She cried for hours. I cleaned up your mess this time, no more playing with dangerous chemicals. Unbelievable. A 10-year-old playing with pesticides? Maybe next time I'll just dance on your bed with a nuclear bomb. But the show must go on. Dad, it hurts. I accidentally rolled onto the nurse call button. The intercom chirped to life as a gentle voice responded. The phone line went silent. Annie. Be careful not to hurt yourself, Mom apologized to the nurse on the intercom. The nurse reassured her it was fine and discussed my treatment plan. Occasional PA system announcements about patient numbers convinced Daddy this was indeed a hospital. What would he do now? Apologize? I held my breath. Then exhaled bitterly when I heard Lucy's voice. John. Everyone's waiting for you to cut the cake. Her saccharine tone made me nauseous. I'm coming. You shouldn't be out here in the cold. John's voice was muffled as if he was covering the receiver. But I still caught his affectionate chuckle. He'd never used that tender tone with Mom. Mom who cooked his meals, managed his schedule, who lit up for months after one of his rare smiles. The injustice burned. After Mom's death, I'd read her diaries. How he'd pursued her relentlessly initially. Their muffled laughter from the phone receiver stabbed like ice picks. Mom swayed on her feet. I squeezed her cold hand. Then erupted in dramatic coughs, though what I really wanted was to bang steel bowls over the phone. Cough. Cough, cough, cough. Daddy, cough, busy? Annie, cough, won't bother you then. Can you visit, cough, when you're free? John always crumbled at vulnerability. Mom's quiet strength couldn't compete with his precious Lucy. But I had childhood innocence as my weapon. Annie? Are you okay? His voice sharpened with alarm. Can't your useless mother handle anything? The self-loathing in his tone wasn't for abandoning us, but for marrying Mom. Elementary dropout I might be, but I recognized deadbeat behavior. Don't blame Mommy. It's Annie's fault, cough, wanted to hear Daddy. I let tears choke my words. Sorry, shouldn't interrupt, you're overtime. Overtime? John's voice cracked. Ivy, your mother said that? She said, cough, you're buying Annie princess dresses, cough, and chocolates. My weak voice dissolved into violent coughing. The phone clattering to the floor as I doubled over. Annie. Mom abandoned the device. No more talking. Baby. Rest now. Talk to Daddy when you're better. Okay? The beep of a severed call punctuated her desperation. Seeing Mom reach for the call button again, I quickly suppressed my cough. Bothering the nurses wasn't part of my plan. Okay. Mom. Can I at least say goodbye to Dad? Mom glanced at the fallen phone and sighed. After a long pause, she picked it up and handed it to me. Thankfully, the line was still connected. Meanwhile, I saw John Wilson's relentless text messages bombarding Ivy's screen. What's really wrong with Annie? Are you actually telling the truth this time? Let me talk to Annie. I'm coming over right now. Ivy. This better not be another act. Perfect. In my past life. Even after Mom sent hospital documents and photos of my frail body, John had accused her of using me for drama while comforting Lucy Brown all night. Though I knew Ivy currently didn't want to see him either. Frankly, neither did I. Dad. I'm okay. Annie. Thank God. Do you know how worried I've been? Sorry, Dad. Annie didn't mean to make you worry. Cough, you should focus on work. I'll rest now. Nonsense. Work isn't more important than you. I'm coming right now. I caught the magic words. Through the receiver came sudden commotion, John's apologetic murmurs to Lucy. Her tearful protests about ruined birthday plans. To fuel the fire, I added sweetly, Dad's the most important person in Annie's world. If you come, I'll be the happiest girl ever. Guaranteed. Lucy heard every word. As John's reassurances grew distant, car horns indicated his arrival at the hospital parking lot. Mom's eyes lit up with fragile hope, making my heart ache. Oh, Mom. If only you understood that man's never coming back. Time for some tough love to cure that love-struck mentality. Right on cue. A shrill scream pierced through the phone. John's panicked Lucy echoed before wind noise and running footsteps swallowed the connection. Broken phrases like sprained ankle and my child filtered through before the call died abruptly. Just like last time. Lucy's priorities never change. At least now. My cheating father carried double guilt towards us while staying out of our hair tonight. Flexing my wrists, I returned the phone to Mom, only to meet her shattered gaze. Time for phase 2 of Operation Reality Check. Mom. Is Dad coming back? She mechanically took the device, forcing a trembling smile. Not tonight. We should understand your father. Annie. He still loves us. He's just preoccupied. The familiar lie hung between us, heavy with decades of disappointment. I nodded. Yeah. Dad always understands us. Annie knows everything. Mutual understanding keeps marriages strong. You and Dad did great. Mom froze at my words. Who taught you this? Teacher Lou. She also said kids growing up in unhealthy family environments become twisted adults. Oh. Mom? What's an unhealthy family? Is it when we all get sick together? Mom didn't answer. Her gaze lingered on my hopeful eyes and the medical tubes covering my body. After what felt like an eternity, she finally spoke. Don't worry, Annie. Mom will make sure you have a healthy family. I exhaled in relief. But as the tension left my body, physical agony crashed over me like tidal waves. I needed to rest before Lucy Brown discovered her pesticide was fake. There'd be a tough battle ahead. Strangely, I woke up refreshed with all the medical devices removed. My lungs felt clear, and energy surged through me like in my healthiest days. Finding Mom absent from the hospital room, I hopped toward the door. That's when I overheard Mom's trembling voice outside. But why? She's so young. Take my lungs. Give her mine. Mrs. Wilson. We've tried everything. At this rate, she has maybe a month. The doctor sounded exhausted. Painkillers barely help now. We recommend letting her spend her final days outside the hospital. I pressed against the wall. A month? But I feel perfectly fine. Wait, this matches exactly how long I survived last life before Lucy killed me. Chills crawled down my spine. Even with a second chance. My expiration date remains? No matter. If this month lets me save Mom, I'll take it. Hearing approaching footsteps, I scrambled back to bed. Better let Mom see me weakening gradually than shock her with a sudden collapse. Mom? I called softly as she entered, her red-rimmed eyes instantly switching to comforting warmth. This month would be enough. More than enough. When Mom entered the room, I called out softly. What's wrong? Annie? Are you feeling worse? It's okay. Annie can handle it. I'm just really hungry and want breakfast. From now on, I needed to make sure Mom ate 3 proper meals daily. What would you like? Sweetheart? I'll get it for you. I paused thoughtfully. Tomato beef congee. All right. I'll get you tomato. Mom froze mid-sentence, staring at me with wide eyes. Annie. Since when do you like congee? You've always hated porridge. I heard the girl in the next bed say tomato beef stew is delicious. And congee is good for breakfast. That wasn't the real reason. After Mom's death, John had placed steaming bowls of tomato beef congee at her grave every morning, her secret favorite from diaries she'd never shared. John had claimed to hate tomatoes. So through their entire marriage, Mom never tasted it at their table. The truth was, the tomato hater wasn't John, it was Lucy who had the allergy. Is that not okay? I tilted my head. If you don't like it, Annie can choose something else. Of course it's okay. I like it too. Mom smiled tremulously, placing the delivery order. Her fingers lingered on my hair. I mean, even if you didn't like it, that's okay. I continued innocently. We could have different foods at the same table. Right? Because you love me. You wouldn't get mad unless you actually hated me and needed excuses to yell? Her hand stiffened in my hair. Mom stared at me like I'd grown antlers, lips trembling before managing. Annie, why would you say such things today? I saw a funny text on your phone. Someone got detention for entering classroom left foot first. Silly. Huh? Children say the darndest things. Mom turned away quickly. But not before I saw tears glimmering. Her choked laughter hurt my heart more than any fever. Remembering how she'd later self-destruct to make John feel guilty. I pushed harder. Mom? After ordering, can we call Dad? I want to talk to him. She silently handed me the phone, hastily wiping her face. The line connected on the third ring. Yes? Lucy's sleep-roughened voice answered. Must you keep bothering John? He's still resting. No wonder he complains about you being a terrible wife who disturbs people at dawn. Not everyone's a freeloader like you. Mom gently took back the phone. Her tear-streaked face softening as she stroked my cheek. Oops. Wrong number. Annie. Let me explain to that woman. She emphasized woman sharply. Even from across the room. I heard Lucy's furious screeching through the receiver. Mom. Come back early. Okay? I want to talk to Dad. Okay. Ivy Peter stood up and walked out. The moment her figure disappeared, I immediately pressed against the door only to freeze at what I heard. Auntie. What are you talking about? If I recall correctly, John Wilson is currently living in my property. Of course. How would a homewrecker understand? Homewreckers spring from rock crevices. My meaning? Maybe ask who your mother really is. I never knew Ivy could curse so viciously. She constructed an elaborate saga around Lucy Brown's alleged homewrecking, implicating 3 generations of the Brown family with different illicit partners for each relative. Without repeating a single insult. Lucy on the other end must be livid. Forced to keep quiet to avoid waking John. And clearly outmatched verbally. She kept sputtering the same goddammit like a broken record before finally slamming the phone down. Is this what John likes? Lower education than me. Can't even argue properly, probably pays double for groceries too. Seems I've been undervaluing myself. Mom mused. Almost disappointed. Truthfully. While Ivy wasn't Ivy League material. She was a graduate from a top-tier university. Meanwhile Lucy barely scraped through a third-rate college. Love truly makes fools of us all. I exhaled in relief. My subtle guidance was working. The old Ivy would never dare confront Lucy like this. Her diaries revealed she'd tried standing up to Lucy before the obsessive devotion took hold. Only to have John publicly shame her as petty and controlling. Even forcing her to apologize. To prove her loyalty, Ivy had deleted all male contacts, including childhood friend Ryan Clark, maintaining only minimal holiday greetings. Emotional manipulation destroys more than wars. Annie? Why are you? The door suddenly swung open, revealing Mom's startled face. Shit. Got too absorbed. She can't know I'm recovered yet, the relapse risk is too high. I let myself collapse dramatically into her arms. Mommy. I'm so scared. It hurts everywhere, she caught me gently, laying me on the hospital bed as I spun my tragic tale. Though she probably guessed the cause. Hearing it from her sick child amplified the impact tenfold. Her fists clenched tighter with each word. My eyes drifted to the wall clock. If memory serves, today held more critical events: Ryan Clark's return from overseas. He'd specifically request Ivy for a business handover at the company. When the call came, John would burst in mid-argument, accusing her of both framing Lucy and being promiscuous. My love-blinded mother would endure the verbal abuse until John stormed out with an ultimatum: choose Ryan's meeting. Or watch me die. Thus Ivy would cancel, allowing Lucy to weaponize this professional negligence into stripping a third of her projects, including the department leadership position she'd worked a decade to earn. All possible because John, with his limited capacity, had gotten Lucy into the company in the first place. My throat was parched from all the talking. The phone rang once during this time. But it was just the delivered tomato beef congee. Since the porridge was scalding hot, Ivy set it aside to cool. After another 10 minutes or so, I finally saw the awaited call. Watching the name Ryan Clark light up Ivy's screen, I flopped back on the hospital bed in relief. Ivy hesitated before switching to speakerphone and answering. Ivy. How've you been? Came a laid-back voice. Ryan? What brings this sudden call? Ivy's professional tone didn't waver. I'm back in the country. I saw Ivy stiffen. My apologies. I've been occupied lately and didn't know. You're the first to know. Enough with the jokes. I'm married. True. But I'm still single. My heart raced. Uncle Ryan was totally into Ivy. This was infinitely better than having that scumbag father of mine. I wished I had 8 years to soak up every detail of their interaction. Ivy maintained her businesslike manner, threatening to hang up unless there was actual matters to discuss. From her perspective, Ryan hitting on a married woman made him the ultimate homewrecker. As Ivy moved to end the call, Ryan finally got serious. My return mainly concerns potential collaboration with your company. But if the liaison isn't my Ivy, I might need more time to consider. The door creaked open before Ivy could respond. My perpetually late father, John Wilson, barged in. Bravo. Ivy. Our daughter's hospitalized and you're out chasing men? He snatched the phone. Ryan Clark? Should have known you two had something going on. Must have been exhausting pretending otherwise before. Whatever Ryan said through the receiver sent John into a cursing frenzy before he hung up. Delete his contact. Now. Not satisfied. His gaze landed on the congee by my bed. How many times must I say I hate tomatoes? Another of his favorites. I presume? You're transparent. Ivy. With theatrical contempt. John Wilson lifted the bowl before us. The still steaming porridge splattered into the trash bin among used tissues and other filth. Neither Ivy nor I had eaten since yesterday afternoon. He knew this from their earlier call. No, Ivy's hands twitched forward instinctively before freezing mid-air. Her wide eyes tracked the reddish sludge seeping through garbage. The raised hand slowly falling to her side. This was the sledgehammer moment shattering her rose-tinted delusions. John Wilson, no. The sperm donor hadn't just discarded congee. He'd thrown away the last scraps of maternal devotion Ivy had clung to. Enough with your antics. Ivy Peter took a deep breath, calmly retrieving her phone from John Wilson's hand. If you want to make a scene, take it outside. Don't embarrass yourself at Annie's bedside. When Mom mentioned me, I couldn't stay silent anymore. John. Daddy. I'm sorry. Please don't let that woman force me to drink that stuff again. What nonsense. John's face flushed crimson. Annie. Do you realize that if it weren't for Lucy Brown, you'd be in juvenile detention right now? Oh John. I see you're panicking. But save that panic for later, you'll need it. Ivy gently stroked my hair, shielding me as she countered. What right do you have to yell at Annie? Even if she misunderstood. Does that excuse you abandoning your sick daughter to play nursemaid to another woman? John visibly relaxed, his trademark smirk returning. So this is really about jealousy. How many times must I say it? Lucy and I are just friends. Last night was a group gathering. I couldn't embarrass her in front of everyone. Tell you what? I'll apologize. Let's compromise. Delete Ryan Clark from your contacts. And I'll drop this. He added condescendingly. And stop buying tomato-flavored snacks. I hate them. Both Mom and I nearly laughed aloud. Get out. John froze mid-gesture. Stop being dramatic. Trust me. I've moved past caring about your theatrics. Ivy's voice turned arctic. I'm only protecting my daughter from your toxicity. The police investigation continues. And that project position is mine. Try stopping me. John raised his hand threateningly. Go ahead. Ivy stared him down. One strike and I'll have the Women's Federation here faster than you can say assault charge. Let's see if your precious company keeps a convicted abuser. His arm dropped. I studied his shocked expression. He'd never seen the steel beneath Ivy's usual gentleness. His corporation's strict ethics policies were finally backfiring. Ivy, John's voice cracked. You've changed. We all outgrow our naive younger selves. She pressed a finger to his lips. Tell your little mistress the director position belongs to me. Her cheap tricks won't work. My breath caught. How had Mom known all along? What had her past self been thinking? Blinded by affection? John shook her off dramatically. Your baseless accusations leave me no choice. He turned to me with performative sadness. Annie. I'll return when your mother comes to her senses. The familiar threat chilled me. He was gambling my life against Mom's compliance. Replaying the same script from our previous tragedy. From this I can see that this man is truly rotten to the core. The shred of guilt he felt toward me yesterday had long been buried in Lucy Brown's tender embrace. So much so that he ignored my illness and turned his attacks back on me and Ivy. Ivy hesitated. She couldn't trust hiring a caregiver for me. Yet there was no one immediately available to help. I wouldn't allow this. It's okay. John. Just take me with you. I won't be a burden. I said, seizing the moment when neither was paying attention. I slid off the bed and clung to John's leg, shooting Ivy a meaningful look. Daddy is still Annie's father after all. You wouldn't say no, right? The doctor said Annie might not have much time left. Annie's scared. My words were meant for Ivy too. Besides, I needed to be alone with John for urgent reasons. Ivy looked startled at my sudden agility but calmed when she read my silent message. I saw profound worry in her eyes before she took a deep breath. See? John? Annie's attached to you too. You wouldn't abandon her now. Would you? Remember, the hospital has surveillance. Ivy. John flushed with rage but froze mid-shove, eyeing my fragile state. He could only watch helplessly as Ivy gathered her things and headed for the door. Oh. One last thing. Ivy paused. My favorite used to be beef and tomato stew. But starting today, I hate it. With that, she vanished. In John's car. I listened to him venting to Lucy over the phone. Having successfully pulled Ivy out of her delusions, it was time to make Lucy pay. While Ivy's timeline had shifted, Lucy remained unchanged. Knowing I'd survived, she'd surely try poisoning me again, just like her 2 attempts in my past life. The first pesticide failed, so she'd later procure real toxins, breaking into our home to stage my death as accidental poisoning, even framing Ivy for it. Now, with Ivy gone and only John at home, the stage was set. As Lucy prepared to hang up, I leaned in and screamed, "Why are you talking to that witch? Annie, how dare you speak like that? Apologize to Lucy, right?" Lucy's fake concern flooded the speaker. Let her dig, every question buried John deeper. No. SHE made me drink poison. If Mommy hadn't said it was fake, I'd be dead. Deliberate words. John only knew about pesticide, not its severity. Ivy had handled my hospital discharge. Fake. Lucy's voice wavered. Don't listen. John soothed. Ivy must have brainwashed her. You have trauma about pesticides, you'd never. Right, I'd never. Lucy basked in his lies while I wailed. When John reached his limit, I remembered triumphantly, don't smile. Witch. Mommy installed eyes in my room. I'll tell the police everything. Silence. Eyes, surveillance? John muttered. Ivy mentioned cameras but never discussed. As if tombstones consult weeds before sprouting. Who do you think you are, prime rib? Dad. Annie will take you home to check the camera. It's right on Annie's bedside table. Dad. You have to believe me. She really is a wicked woman. My tearful plea in Mom's changed attitude toward John made him frown. Lucy Brown immediately sensed the tension. John, are you doubting me? You know how my brother, never mind. You must be tired of hearing about this. Of course not. Lucy. Don't overthink it. I understand Annie probably meant no harm. Why don't you take her home to check? It'll clear my name and ease your mind. Her honeyed words smoothed John's furrowed brow. Yet she showed no trace of fear. You always understand me best. Lucy comforted him with poisoned sweetness, claiming I confused imagination with reality due to my youth, while subtly implying Mom taught me to slander her. She even expressed outrage about Mom abandoning me to John's care. Predictably, John swallowed every word. So when Lucy offered to help care for me at home, he agreed instantly. There it is. Perfect. I was afraid you wouldn't take the bait. John hung up with newfound contempt. Annie Wilson. Stop imitating your mother's nonsense. But Dad, if Mom hadn't helped last night, I'd never see you again. He didn't even look up. That heartless woman tried to kill you. No. The camera will show it was her. After checking the footage, you'll apologize to Lucy. Bring her favorite orange from home, peel it nicely, and she'll forgive you. He sighed. For your safety, I'll call the police. Even if it's your mother, I won't hesitate. Good. Remember those words. John Wilson. I sat quietly in the car until I needed to use the bathroom near home. Using my gender as an excuse. He waited outside. 30 minutes later, I returned to an empty parking spot. The cold wind stung my cheeks red before his car finally reappeared, with Lucy in the passenger seat. Hello, Annie. We meet again. The pink-coated woman smiled tenderly. Her frost-kissed cheeks made her appear vulnerable. When I hesitated, John rolled down the window. Annie managed to go to the bathroom alone? Seems you've recovered well. Lucy got cold waiting outside. Since you know the way home, walk back yourself. John Wilson. My past life-death had your fingerprints all over it. Prioritizing your beloved over your sick daughter? Impressive. If I were truly ill, I'd be dead in this parking lot already. For one mad moment, I wanted to crack open his skull to see what rot festered inside. But justice must take its proper course. Then I used all my strength to pull open the car door and climbed into the back seat. He showed no concern about letting a sick child go to the bathroom alone or sit in the back. That proved all his previous phone call anxiety was fake, just maintaining his good guy image. Let's go home. Dad. Congratulations. John. You're free now. No one in this world truly loves you anymore. The moment we arrived home, I locked myself in my room despite John's calls. Don't worry, John. She's probably just shy. Lucy's sickly sweet voice carried through the door. But Lucy, you're the one who should be upset. It's okay. I actually like children. Annie's adorable. John, why don't you go buy her favorite groceries? I'll cook something nice. Kids are easy to win over with good food. True to form, John obeyed Lucy without even telling me. Now I was alone in the house with a murderer. As I mentally cursed John, stiletto clicks approached my door. Annie. Open up. It's big sister Lucy. You're older than my mom. Stop pretending. Hag. I shouted, bracing against the door. Lucy laughed hysterically. Your dad won't be back soon. I sent him for pickled fish 30 kilometers away. See how much he loves me? Her voice suddenly turned shrill. So why did you bitches steal him from me? Nails screeched against the wood, making my blood freeze. Don't bullshit me. Dad cares about Mom first. Me second. You're nobody. Shut up. Shut up. She still couldn't handle hearing important. You brat know nothing. I'm John's soulmate. He'd never choose that bitch Ivy without that incident. Oh really? Then why did Dad tell me that story like some cautionary tale? Her scratching stopped abruptly. How you tried seducing your step-brother for inheritance. When he refused, you fed him pesticide and staged a suicide. Killed the only person who truly cherished you. The door shook under Lucy's frenzied pounding. Her brother had raised her after their mother's death. Even after learning she poisoned him, he'd stroked her hair saying, "This is my debt. I'm the reason Mom died. My life's always been yours. You'll always be my most important person." Lucy's brother died. Then her gambler father squandered their fortune anyway. She hadn't actually gone abroad before, but rather hid from her father's enemies. When Lucy Brown returned, John Wilson had already gotten together with my mother. The reason she kept clinging to John was because he bore a faint resemblance to Lucy's late brother. Of course, my foolish father knew nothing about this, only that her brother had committed suicide. Her life was tragic. But she deserved it. That didn't justify her destroying my entire family. Lucy refused to accept reality. The John who'd always cherished her had been deceiving her all along. The line went silent. I called out tentatively a few times but got no response. Just as I thought she'd gone to confront John, I heard a chilling sound, She was unlocking my door with a key. It was too late. I tried barricading the door. But my emaciated body couldn't stop her. The door burst open violently, flinging me to the floor. A sharp pain shot through my leg, Lucy's stiletto heel. Her voice regained its usual saccharine tone. "You're such a disobedient child. If you'd just obediently died, everything would have been perfect. Then John's heart would belong entirely to me." She viciously kicked me, sending me crashing against the bed frame. My skull slammed against the floor with a sickening crack. Yet I felt no pain. Then again, today wasn't my designated death day. My fingers brushed my wrist. Lucy glanced contemptuously at my crumpled form before striding toward my nightstand in those lethal heels. "Let's see what we have here." She picked up the unopened surveillance camera box from my bedside. A new toy? Still sealed and everything. She tore open the packaging, deliberately rubbing it against my palms and fingers before smashing it to the floor. The pristine device shattered into pieces. Only then did I notice her gloves. "Can't be too careful, right?" Her blood-red lips curved in a predator's smile. "Mom will save me." I choked out. "Oh. Your corpse, mother will come," she purred, pulling a small banned pesticide bottle from her coat. "After she joins you underground." How had she obtained this lethally restricted poison in under 2 hours? "Why?" I screamed through my left hand covering my mouth. "Was Dad's stories true? Are you really a murderous monster? That's why you tried poisoning me before." Lucy crouched until her black lacquered nails scored my face. As I jerked away in pain, she forced my left hand onto the pesticide bottle, smearing my fingerprints across its surface and her own skin. "John should have stayed content being my brother's replacement," she hissed. "Stringing along your mother while rejecting my love for my brother. Who do you think John truly loves?" The bottle's open mouth pressed against my lips as she tilted it. "But Annie, don't worry. As long as you and your mother are dead, he'll love only me and dote on me like a brother." The pungent liquid was forced into my mouth. Time to go quietly. But I showed no panic, staring straight at her. Before she could finish pouring the poison, a deafening crash erupted from the door. I grinned. "You're the one who'll be leaving tonight. Oh, by the way, Granny, ever heard the tale of a 10-year-old uprooting a willow tree?" "What?" She froze. "Nothing. Your face just looks like bark. Open up." "Police." My front door splintered inward. Lucy Brown was ruthless. Hearing the cops, she smashed the bottle against her own head and flung the gloves out the window toward a sewer grate. When the police stormed in, they found only her unconscious body. But she'd forgotten, cops weren't John Wilson. And they didn't think with their hearts. A 10-year-old couldn't orchestrate this. Plus, Uncle Ryan. I leaped into the arms of the sharp-featured man. "Brat's got guts." Ryan Clark chuckled, eyeing Lucy's crumpled form. "This lunatic actually tried framing a kid. Desperation makes people stupid." I smirked. Ryan was my secret weapon. I'd remembered his number, and how he'd spent his last life alone. Mourning Mom. He wasn't some homewrecker. His sudden return? Pure strategy. We shared an enemy, John. The security footage had been fake bait. Luring Lucy here without John's interference was the real play. My hidden right hand had clutched a kid's smartwatch the whole time, recording everything for Ryan and the cops. Every confession. Every crime, now evidence. I'd deliberately ditched childish speech. Messing with her head. The crazier she got, the less she saw me as a threat. Perfect. Looks like my sperm donor's sanity's crumbling faster than hers. I mused as Ryan carried me out. The law would handle Lucy Brown now. And John Wilson? His reckoning was just beginning. "Uncle Ryan, how did your conversation with Mom go?" "Not great. Your mother was so worried about you that she barely paid attention to me." His voice was filled with genuine concern. "Had I known John would be this irresponsible, I never would have allowed your mother to be with him. It's all right. We're not too late." The police soon took us all into custody. I gave the officers the recording from my kid's smartwatch, which detailed Lucy's 2 attempted assaults. To be thorough. I also told them how she'd framed her own brother. The officers said that the charges against her could lead to either capital punishment or life imprisonment. Mr. Clark kindly offered to inform all of Lucy Brown's social circle relatives, friends, and co-workers. After everything was settled, Ryan and I finally told Mom the whole story. Ivy Peter held me tightly and wept for hours. When John Wilson came home with fish that day, he found chaos. Frantically calling Lucy. He ended up talking to the police instead. Even after the officers explained the situation, he accused them of being scammers. His second 911 call was answered by the same patient police officer. To make the biggest impact, Ryan deliberately took me to John's house. The moment John saw us, I turned on the speaker of my smartwatch. Wasn't being my brother's replacement good enough for you? Hearing Lucy's actual recording, John rushed to the police station, smelling strongly of pesticides. Lucy regained consciousness and saw both the officers and her angry lover standing over her. Under John's questioning, she dropped all pretenses and sneered that he could never compare to her brother. He was a pathetic fool who had abandoned his perfect wife for cheap thrills. This made John lose his temper. He beat Lucy up right there in the station and got arrested again for disorderly conduct. Later, Ryan showed Ivy undeniable evidence of John's infidelity. After attending Lucy's trial, Mom immediately filed for divorce. When John got out of custody, looking haggard and pleading for forgiveness in court, he voluntarily gave up all his assets, maybe out of guilt or because of Ryan's threats. His scandal cost him both his marriage and his career. Yet he kept showing up at Mom's office like a lovesick puppy, bringing her favorite tomato beef congee. Please, Ivy, he'd plead. Don't hold a grudge for Annie's sake. Lucy manipulated me and made me think you still cared about Ryan. Clutching Mom's leg, I glared at him and said, if you keep harassing Mom, I'll unplug your life support. Before Mom could respond, a familiar drawl interrupted, congee's overrated anyway. A hand reached past John and grabbed the thermos. Ryan Clark leaned against the doorframe and stirred the stolen porridge mockingly. The porridge traced a perfect arc into the trash can. The real treasure here is the people. You. John Wilson glared at Ryan Clark with undisguised hostility. Let me make this clear, even if Ivy and I divorce, she's still mine. Annie depends on me and will never call anyone else father. Stay away from her. Why drag me into this again? I checked my smartwatch. Showtime. Bouncing over. I flashed him a mischievous grin. Don't use me as your excuse, John. I'm checking out right now, pretend this never happened. With those words, I collapsed dead before him. Just like my previous life. Truth was, I'd known since the hospital visit that pesticide I'd been force-fed before this reincarnation had sealed my fate. My spirit rose, watching Uncle Ryan catch my limp form. Your own child would rather play dead than acknowledge you, he told John cheerfully. That's some Olympic-level parenting failure. Ryan cradled me in one arm and wrapped the other around Mom. Though uncomfortable, she maintained perfect composure facing John. We ended when you abandoned Annie, she said evenly. You'd better spend that energy visiting Lucy Brown in prison. I saw her recently, he countered. Still pining for you. Maybe her you were just a substitute story was fake. Either way, Mom's voice held finality. Don't come around anymore. I stopped loving you years ago. John's wounded expression crumpled as he lunged for my lifeless hand. Uncle Ryan swatted him away like an annoying mutt, ushering Mom into the car while leaving John choking on exhaust fumes. I died. Exactly when fate decreed. Mom spent the day in stunned silence when they couldn't wake me. Per our agreement, Uncle Ryan delivered my final letter requesting two things. 1. A diary detailing everything I'd witnessed in our past life for John. And 2. Stopping John's August 9th car accident. He shouldn't die, let him live with endless regret. Most importantly, I wanted Mom to understand, using your life to guilt others is the worst possible strategy. On Lucy Brown's execution day, she died screaming for John and some mysterious brother. Eyes wide open, John read the diary. Learned how Lucy killed me. then wallowed in a dingy apartment mirroring his previous depression. Now he haunts Mom's office building daily. But Mom, ever the powerhouse, breezes past him negotiating deals with industry leaders. The only constant beside her? Ryan Clark. He didn't know if Mom was with Ryan Clark. But all the affection that should have been his in the past had now been transferred to Ryan. As an observer, he finally realized what he'd truly missed. So, he regretted it. He started drinking frequently and used it as an excuse to call Mom. At first, the calls still went through. However, the object of his heartfelt confessions was always Ryan. Until one day, when he used 3 wrong adjectives in a single sentence. Ryan couldn't help but correct him. Only then did he finally stop. Time flashed forward to the day of his car accident. Mom did go to save him. Watching Mom wearing his favorite colored dress, he was filled with hope. But when he saw Ryan standing behind Mom, he completely despaired. Especially when Mom smiled and told him, "Don't misunderstand. Ryan sent all my other clothes to the dry cleaner yesterday. This was the only one left." He forced a bitter smile and said, "I wish you happiness." Then he jumped off the building and died at the exact time he was supposed to die. Filled with pain and guilt. When he died, I heard him say, "Annie, Daddy's coming to be with you." Floating beside him, I whispered, "Someone who betrays true love like you should reincarnate as an animal." He seemed to hear me. At the moment before impact, he reached out trying to grab something and then nodded with a smile. Epilogue. I'm Ivy Peter. My daughter Annie died. I should have noticed something was wrong earlier. How could a 10-year-old become mature overnight, possessing comforting strength that even reassured adults? So when I heard the unbelievable truth from Ryan, I just paused momentarily before accepting it calmly. Annie must have been an angel who fell to earth. Afraid I'd never love again after emotional trauma. She kept pushing Ryan toward me and told him everything. But if possible, I'd choose not to date anyone because I only want to be Annie's mother. Truth be told, I owe Ryan an apology. I kept rejecting him coldly and never imagined he'd remember me all these years. He even saved Annie. When I rejected him again recently, he told me, "Seeing you like this breaks my heart. Little Moon." Annie Wilson swore she'd wait to be reborn as our baby. I promised that child. Breaking promises to kids, that's not what adults should do. I absolutely believe Annie said this. But how could I love Ryan with my shattered heart? Yet he doesn't seem to care. He still drives me to work daily, brings me meals, and infuriates that scumbag John. Every time I see John's hurt expression, I secretly delight. "You scumbag. I never saw you act like this when you were with Lucy Brown." I always retort like this. Soon it came to the day Annie told me about, when John Wilson would have his car accident. Though I really didn't want to save him, I followed through, remembering Annie's words. Ryan Clark insisted on coming with me, worried about my safety. Before this, he'd tricked me into giving him my keys by claiming he forgot something at my place. Then took all my colored dresses to the laundry except the white ones. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Was he trying to make me look like I'm attending John's funeral? Who knew this man could be so childish? Our appearance made John completely give up. With a bitter laugh, he died on that cursed date. Just like Annie. Well, if even Annie couldn't escape fate, how could he? For years after his death, I accepted Ryan's proposal. Strangely, we never had children. Does Annie not want me as her mother anymore? One night, I dreamed of a white-bearded old man who gave me a cat, saying, "Those who defy life-death rules can't return as humans. But kind souls may become spiritual creatures." He never mentioned Annie. Yet I knew. When I woke up, a 4-month-old kitten identical to my dream sat outside my 15th floor window. A dead mouse in its mouth. It shook its head cheerfully and dropped the rodent, mirroring John's fatal fall. I quickly let the kitten in. It clung to my leg fearlessly. "Welcome home, Annie," I whispered.